Good evening, everyone, and welcome to take 2 of the broadcast tonight. I am joined once again by my faithful colleagues, Joseph Wright and Matheus Marçal. Joseph actually guesting on tonight's round, and I believe the next round as well, was it? Was it 1 and 5 you're helping us with? I can't remember entirely.
It'll be
but it's 1 and 5, so great to have both these guys with us for these rounds. Through the full season of broadcasting and commentary here in the Assetto Corsa RSS GT1 Series hosted by SimRacingOnline.co.uk. Well, gentlemen, good to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back, I guess.
Obviously, only a week since myself and Matteo were on broadcast, and obviously that was back to the G.E.A.R series at the Circuit of the Americas, an amazing round, but we've got a different style of car here today. We've got a car that I believe back in the day was LT2s for pace actually. But it's just looking, obviously we're in qualifying at the moment, so no practice, well no broadcasted practice, but we're in broadcasted qualifying. 1 minute 52.6 here at the moment, the fastest time of the day. Some really quick drivers out on circuit, just trying to make sure I can get everyone on my view. I'm still getting used to this game myself. Obviously Matteo and Joseph both have broadcasting experience on Assetto. I have not, so bear with me through my hospitality pitches I'm going to have today. But amazing grid we got lined up for you. Many cars here, 22 cars on this grid, full of GT1 cars, of Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Vipers, Listers, and even a Saline. So, got plenty of cars with us. Beyond the exacts, we've got the Lamborghini Murcielago, the Saline S7, the Ferrari 550 and the Ferrari 555. The Lister Storm, the V12 there, remember, so that's going to be screaming away alongside the Lamborghini. And then the Dodge 5, the typical XRP driver that you would have expected, that hasn't changed much in its life. Now, all three of us, well, I believe all three of us, have been lucky enough to drive these cars. I'm not sure about Joseph, I know he was saying it was his rig setup. But I know myself and Matteo have done a fair bit of driving in these cars because they are quite addictive after a while. But what have you guys sort of thought about this mod and these cars?
Well, I've actually only seen these cars pretty much tonight, and I hadn't been in the service for about 2 hours now, go around, and they sound absolutely amazing. And I was running on board with Matheus and he was showing off the Dodge Viper, and oh my word, the acceleration, the way that it looks from inside the car is absolutely beautiful. I'm sure that every single one of these drivers is enjoying every single moment they're getting out on that track right now.
Oh yeah, I agree. These cars have the finest of detail, from the carbon fiber texture all the way to like the model itself. It's just perfect, picture perfect. The sounds of these cars are crazy good. The handling of these cars are accurate. I'm pretty sure, I haven't driven any of these cars in real life, but I'm pretty sure these cars are really accurate to their real life counterparts. And this is quality.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful cars, and having done laps upon lap upon lap in these beautiful pieces of kit. Mainly the Lamborghini, because that's what I grew up with. GT1 was, you know, when I first, you know, popped onto a GT1 mod and looked around and had a bit of a nosy. I saw the Lamborghini and went, ooh, that's something I like, and drove that on lap. But obviously, the first GT1 car I probably came across was actually the Lister, the old Gran Turismo series. I think the first one I noticed it in was actually Gran Turismo 4. It was one of the starter GT1 cars you got in quick race straight off the bat. Wasn't the quickest. It was actually on pace with a V8 supercar at the time, so really wasn't actually on pace at all with the rest of the GT1 cars, but definitely a car that is absolutely beautiful to look at and just beautiful to listen to. Another one of the GT1 cars I grew up around and just, you know, noticed a lot when I was looking at GT1 races was, of course, the Saline and Viper. Very much the American brute force cars of the era. Definitely not your highly technical, highly finished and glossed, you know, European supercars that you would have brought to the track. Just two massive engines, Chevy in the case of the Saline and the obviously Dodge, the SRT engine in the back, in the front of that Viper. Very much outputting oodles of horsepower with not much traction or handling capabilities, but definitely two beautiful cars that are very much part of, I think, many of the sports car racing lovers' childhoods. Very much a short-lived era of GT racing, and very much one that I think a good few of us would wish to come back. But obviously, we're here today at the Buddh International Circuit. This is the one circuit in India that has actually had a Formula 1 race. It lasted from 2012 to 2013, so they only hosted 2 Grand Prix. And it was rumoured to make a return, but the funding I don't think was ever found, so it's never returned since. And it's now only really used for Indian truck racing, and a lot of the country that sort of, you know, have their houses and stuff demolished, and, you know, out there, you know, housing is, you know, a luxury. Very much against the circuit still existing, but hopefully Formula 1 can come back in the future. It'd be absolutely phenomenal to see, because in my opinion this is one of the most beautifully crafted racetracks, one of the most flowing circuits, and I don't think I've ever driven a circuit that I've enjoyed more to drive than this one. I don't know about you guys on that one either.
No, I think this is definitely a really good track, and yes, to see Formula 1 back here I think would be a very good thing. But at the same time, I don't know whether it is one of the best tracks to drive out there. I certainly could never get into a rhythm when doing races here. I still can't find a rhythm doing it. But watching these cars head around, they definitely look like they're in their element. They look so smooth through these corners. Like you said, it is quite flowing, and that's actually great. You want to see in a way that these cars just flow from one corner to the next. We've got a couple of really fast straights, and I think that's going to be really good for overtaking opportunities, definitely into the braking zones, and I think we're going to see some really good racing.
Yeah, of course, I can definitely see a lot of really potentially strong drivers coming if they don't necessarily have the good qualifying, because obviously 90-minute races in this series, same as the G.E.A.R series, excluding the Le Mans round we had there. Very much 1.5 hour sprint races. I don't believe we'll need a pit stop, but knowing this mod, we probably will do with the same names. But definitely one where pit stops are not of a luxury, pit stops are more of a hindrance. But definitely great to see these cars, these old cars around pretty much what is actually one of the more modern circuits in the world, actually very much untampered with and born out of creativity. And very much a gem of this season's calendar. Obviously, I'll go through the calendar in a moment, actually, of what you've got to expect from this series coming up. But it's a pleasure, and once again, to introduce the commentary and broadcast teams tonight. I am Alex Skinner, your main commentator for the entirety of the series. Hopefully going to be able to bring you all of the amazing 5 rounds of action we've got for you this season. I'm also joined by my normal secondary commentator, who also is lovingly broadcasting the series for us, Matheus Marçal.
Hello everyone, sorry, my bad, go ahead.
But no, joining me alongside, and going to be very much fun to have Matteo with me for the ride. Very much glad to have a come, and also very much glad to have a third colleague with us, because it's nice to have someone to chat about in the broadcast booth. Making up for some lost time, shall we put it, is Joseph Wright, who you will recognise from the race department Le Mans series. Was a little gem of his career, and also from the Group C Honey Jar series that's hosted here on Assetto Corsa by SimRacingOnline. Joseph, you've got some time to make up for.
Yeah, I was a bad boy, so I need to make up my time, but I'm absolutely glad to be here for the GT1 series, because like I said, the cars are beautiful, this track is absolutely beautiful, and the grid is absolutely humongous for tonight's race, so this is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and to go through the calendar, before we hit the end of qualifying, to go through the calendar, round 1 is here at the Buddh International Circuit, and for round 2 we go to what is one of my favourite circuits, Road America. That's Sunday the 4th of November. Round 3, we go to Watkins Glen, which is another one of my favourites. It's a really good circuit I enjoy, but I wouldn't class it one of my favourites. Then round 4, we go to, I think it is my most lapped circuit, and the one circuit that if anyone ever disses, I will actually murder them for doing so. It's Road Atlanta. That will be on Sunday, December 2nd, with Watkins being on November 18th. And then the finale of the championship, round 5 at Sebring, December 16th. That is going to be a beautiful circuit to end on. Some very, very beautiful circuits, very, very beautiful GT1 cars to roam around on. And I don't think we could have had a better calendar.
That's arguable. It's depending on what your sort of favourite tracks are. But yes, these tracks certainly suit these cars. They are very nice tracks to visit, and I think it is going to be an absolutely amazing thing to end at Sebring at the end of the year, just before Christmas as well. It's going to be fantastic to see, and I don't know who's going to end out on top, because the people who are off top in practice aren't at the top here in qualifying, and I think we're going to see even different people go to the top in the race, because it is such a long race, so who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, and during practice we saw Van der Gies in the first place while practice on like 152, 153 lap, and now on the qualifying we're seeing that David Ricciardi, I don't know how to say your name, sorry, and he's doing he's doing 152 lows, which is a second faster than everyone else in the field.
Yeah, that is some amazing times. I just didn't manage to look at the practice times much, so obviously Matteo is sort of my leash for times here today, but obviously perfect track grip. The weather conditions are absolutely beautiful here today. 24 degrees air temperature, no wind at all, 31 degree track temperature, so the tyres are going to be really inside their operating temperatures. We're going into the race session now. No, we're finishing qualifying, I apologise. But an amazing job by Davide Ricciardi to take pole in, I believe it was his Lamborghini, so really great drive by him. Then 1.047 seconds back was Reinhard Berger in 5.7 P12. Beautiful piece of kit, and from what I was tipped off by some friends of mine here around the series on this, the best car to actually pick this series, with the most mechanical grip and the most torque, definitely seems to be the one to go for. Now, if one of my colleagues remind me how not to end up joining the race, but also still be able to spectate, that would be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's one thing that I love about Assetto Corsa is the fact that you can't hit race until after the race has begun. Otherwise, you'll end up on the grid, which we don't really want. Otherwise, our cars will just be sitting there. Which will be quite funny.
It would be quite entertaining indeed to happen, but it's very much something that we've got to get used to. And John Bambi saying, let's not have a big pearl open turn 1, guys. Break in time, please. Yeah, I would be very curious to see how that will go with GT1 cars on very cold brakes and very cold tyres going into turn 1. A very tight turn 1 at that.
Yeah, yes, an extremely tight turn 1, but to be fair, that's not the tightest turn to get these cars to be going through in a massive group, because you've got that major, turn 3 onto the long straight that's even tighter, and with over 20 cars heading down there, it's going to be very interesting to see.
And thank you also for the message, Joseph, screaming at me in full caps lock. Yeah, love. This is the joys of working with these colleagues. You get some very, very fun little moments, and very much have had a good few of those this season in multiple of the broadcasts that we've done, obviously. From what started out...
The lights are coming up. Stop talking random stuff now. The lights are coming up. We are about to get going green.
Well, 6 lights, and the lights will go out for the first time here in the RSS GT1 Series, and we are away. Into turn 1 we go, and Ricciardi is going to retain that lead. It's going to be very, very close indeed around the outside. trying to make sure everyone gets through cleanly. And I don't believe we've had any contact at all, so it's absolutely perfect so far. Everyone getting through as best they can.
That's all nice and clean out of the first sector, which is absolutely incredible to see with how many cars there are barreling down the long straight now.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of cars very far up front. A few cars having a couple of issues. A couple of cars, I think, pit started actually. So those guys that pit starting, keeping themselves well. I was probably expecting more trouble into turn one than there actually was, which, you know, I've done that before and see clear track in front of us. But Ricciardi currently leading in his lap. Chihuahua. Second place is Wright. Beautiful piece of kit. And then third place is your own reference. I'll get back to
off the track. The number 27 machine found himself around. There was a little bit of contact, and he's gone off the track. He's back on now though, down in 19th position. He was in the top 10 before.
Yeah, no, a bit more contact as well. The big gang of the cars actually coming towards the really fast running section. And I believe that was Philip Pichler who had a couple of problems there. So even, I think he got turned around and went a bit wide, just trying to make sure he kept out of the way of everyone when he made his mistake or had his bit of contact. But everyone's still going pretty cleanly, and Ricciardi has already checked out away from Berger, so that Lamborghini is looking really, really strong here today. And the lister, John Lamborghini, is currently in 4th place in his list, the highest lister on the field at the moment, with the highest Ferrari being 5th place, Simon Pipe. I'm sorry, the second highest Ferrari, but that being the 5.5 instead of the 5.7. I'll get my car brands, I'll get my models right eventually, please forgive me. But we do have a move, it is back and Yusuf Masi trying to go side by side, or in the hairpin at the end of the first sector, slipstreaming down the back straight, very, very long back straight indeed. And these guys nose to tail, the Viper seemingly having a bit more top speed at the moment. But just not able to capitalise as well as he wanted to. But down into the braking zone. And still looks like he's going to stay in the seat's way. He's not going to be overtaken. I don't think they're saying he's got enough traction in the midsection to be able to capitalise. I believe he's got to get it done on the traction zones onto the back straight. A bit further down the order, just seeing if everyone else has managed to make themselves get through cleanly, and there is no more accidents. No refineries so far, so that's always brilliant to see. Coming down through, and obviously Joseph and Matteo, if you see anything, do let me know, because I'm going to miss a ton of stuff today with how much is going on and how big the field is. As the seat does go wide, and so does Baroness, is allowing Lockie onto the back of the on the listers, disabling going drivers. The lister tucks in behind on the slipstream, down towards turn 1 we go. To the inside goes the lister. Later on the brakes, but not late enough. They're side by side on the exit. Round the outside, sweeping left of turn 2. It's going to be late breakers into turn 3. Gets the job done unless the comeback can be done. Put it all from the rear end. And it's going to be really looking to take charge of this now. Side by side still, the lister has to get back in. Benotti is very, very close behind indeed. The lister of Nathan Lockie trying to look down inside. The saline runs wide, giving him plenty of room. Both salines actually, I should say, very much sandwiching him. He's going very defensive. Oh, Pablo Benotti indeed.
I must question how you pronounce saline. I never knew that's how you were supposed to say it.
I've always said saline in my life.
And I know this as saline too.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
I was a Saleen. I'm very sorry.
Let's just say it's that car with an American V8 engine in it. Okay.
Please do.
That is your first question of probably many tonight.
Well, Matteo is the closest to America we're going to get in this broadcast tonight, so...
Oh yeah.
I dated American. Is that close enough? I don't know.
Oh god.
Yeah, that miscommunication was a lot of fun, I must say. But anyway, let's actually look at the race, of which Nathan Lockie has dropped off the map. I don't think he's going to become much more charged over the next couple of laps. But looking at 3rd, 4th and 5th, only 8 tenths of a second the same gap between Van der Poel and Wright. This thing might start to close in on a little bit of a fight. But it's strange to see Van der Poel actually not on a podium right now. Of course, still got very long to go. But he is one of the fastest drivers I know. Just to see him down even just in 4th position is a lot unlikely.
Yeah, it is very unusual indeed, but John is from what I've seen from his racing, it is pretty inconsistent in like where he runs in racing, depends car to car. But, you know, in Formula 3s he can run up and podium and, you know, maybe even challenge for a win on the odd occasion, as we did see, you know, a couple of times in the classic Formula 3 series halfbacks do. He can then go with an LP2 and be very much up there, but then suddenly drop off at the end of the race and me and Matteo just sit there going, nothing to do there then.
Oh, there's a spin! There is a spin! Steph Williams around. He's running behind Finotti and Lockie. In 10th, he's just got around there.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to rejoin just in front of Philip Fischler and Dennis and So those two guys who are really going at it right now, the list versus Saleen. The Saleen. Oh god, this is going to take me a while to get you. Change the habit of 18 years of my entire life. But definitely those two are going to be really challenging, and Steph Williams already on the back of Roger Hins' Lamborghini. Those two guys probably going to go at it with the fact that Steph Williams was a lot quicker, and being ahead is already going to try down the inside. Not the best place to try it, lads. Let's keep it a bit, you know, let's keep it back for a straightaway, shall we? And not risk blowing the cars up coming into the final corner. But obviously, coming out to the final corner, throw better traction, better mechanical grip, and better torque. It's not going to be very good games, so, you know. Well, we'll see how that does. I believe, I remember reading that the Ferraris do have penalties. I'm going to see Nathan Lockie having a really good defend from Pablo Finotti. This is called 7th place at the moment. No, sorry, this is 8th place, as we've got a disconnection.
Andrew Harper retired from the race. I think he actually ran out of fuel. I saw him dawdling into the lane. I don't think he got out of fuel.
That wouldn't surprise me. I've done that before. As very, very close indeed. Finotti to the inside of Lockie. It's going to be very, very, very close indeed. And he's made it work. Great driving by Finotti to take that 8th place back. But they've got to be careful because they have got Chris Hill and Johnny Gutierrez behind the second, another lister, alongside another one of the Ferrari 5.5s. These two really, really quick drivers in their own right, especially with how they are at the moment. And these two, bit of a lock up from Nathan Lockie, trying to avoid the back of Pablo Finotti. And I'm just having a look a bit further up the order. That's the front lot, and the gaps haven't really closed up or gone down. So those guys all really seem to just be able to run their own races, whilst the guys, 8th back are really in a lot of close quarter fights. As Nathan Lockie seems to have that list really under control, whereas Pablo Finotti's seems very, very uncomfortable to drive at the moment. Finotti to the inside. Lockie really trying to get the run on the back of Finotti, and it's just not working out wherever he wants to go. That Saleen is really in the wrong place. But as I say, that traction zone out of the final corner, who's going to have it down the front straight? Looks like it's going to be Finotti once again. The top speed of that Saleen really helping into turn 1.
Oh, there's a crash at the final turn. As I've just been looking at Hins, he's gone around, collected by Bosca. Back going again. as he was in a little bit of a close fight. But looking at that, actually, that Pinotti and Lockie battle, if you notice, Hill and Gutierrez are slowly closing in behind with how much these two drivers are fighting. It could very quickly become a four-way fight there.
Yeah, definitely, and they're not actually, I'm just looking at these cameras, they're not that far off of Callum Barron either. As much as they were, 1.2 seconds slower that lap due to them just really going at it fighting, they're still not that badly off the pace compared to Callum, so they really are actually closing. And now that Pablo Pinotti has sort of dropped Nathan Lockie a bit, he's now going to start, I believe, dropping his back to Chris Hill, it's like Chris Hill joining Gutierrez fight. I believe that Pablo Pinotti may be able to catch his Saleen counterpart, Callum Barron.
Third position's just gone off the track. Jerome Reynolds. I don't know what happened. I missed it. He's down to fifth, and that almost randomly onto the podium and tight into fourth.
Oh, dearie me. That is... It's mistakes that happen that cost a lot of places in this race. But if he's showing that pace, the 55.03 to a 56.1, he's got the pace to be running quicker than Van der Geest and Simon Pike, so I don't think it will take him too long to close back up and get past, but around this circuit we have seen that, overtaking is not as easy as it looks. But as I say, that Nathan Lockie's right on the back of Pinotti again, who's got a really slow exit out of the final corner, but then has the traction in the back of that car just to pull away, and they gapped Chris Hill and Johnny Gutierrez again. So these guys, as much as they're fighting, they're just really gapping the guys behind them again, and it's not taking them long to really find any time in those cars. And having a look a bit further down the order, just still some people fighting it out for some of the low positions as if it were a race win, but obviously Davide Ricciardi currently leading 154.3 that last lap compared to Ryan going at 154.7. As the guys behind, Giovanni is 155.4, so the leader is over a second quicker than, the car in third place. He's now under immense pressure from Simon Pike in fourth.
Yeah, since runners went off the track, these two drivers, Van der Geest and Pike, have closed up. Van der Geest sort of gains near the end of the lap, but I don't know why at the beginning of the lap, Pike just does a much better job at closing in, and it could give him an opportunity off of a very long straight under the braking, if he can just keep it close enough this time around.
Well, it seems the mechanical grip of that Ferrari that is supposedly meant to be there and really meant to be a lot better than the rest of them. It seems like it's paying off through that third sector, and through the second and third sector, it's saving Saleen able to bring it back just slightly. And you're going to laugh at me the whole time I pronounce this wrong. I'm going to hate you after this broadcast. But
you hated me before this broadcast. That's not going to change.
Hate you at all. Get your facts straight. Which is definitely, but coming through, just having a look at the lap times again of the guys up the front of the field. And Ricciardi actually did a 55 that last lap. 55.2 that last lap compared to Berger's 54.7, so gap came down a bit between those two.
I'm thinking Ricciardi's fast, it's about trying to get the consistency in. Of course, we're only 15 minutes into this race. We still have an hour and 16 minutes to go. You've just got to take it easy and push, come off how much you're pushing, try to save the tyres, save the fuel a little bit, because like you were saying, qualifying, you're not quite sure if they will need a pit stop here. I'm expecting they will, but it's going to be depending on how long that pit stop is. What can they save on the track that makes up pit stop short?
Yeah, definitely, and for the next race I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more research into the pit stops and everything else, because I genuinely was focused on other series recently. As Callum Barron is under immense pressure. No, he's just gotten past in the seat, actually, I take that back. Callum Barron has just gotten past, he just took the seat. And now Pinotti is there as well. Lockie is now under immense pressure from Chris Hill. So this is something we missed whilst looking at the leaders, looking at the race leaders. These guys all fighting. This is for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th and 11th at the moment between these guys. So these guys are covered by, a few seconds at the moment. So anyone makes a mistake, and that is going to be one very, very, very costly error.
Well, Hill did on this lap try to get the inside through of Lockie just wasn't quite able to make it. That really sharp right hand very long straight. If you want the inside line, it's certainly the better way to go, but if you can't get the speed on the exit, then you're just going to lose the position, definitely with the double left-hander that comes up next. Hill under attack now from G.E.A.R as they head up to
I was about to say, sorry about that, I was about to say that G.E.A.R was really trying to pressure Hill coming into the penultimate corner, but just drops right back through the final corner, so maybe not as confident on the brakes as G.E.A.R. As Hill was sorry, he said G.E.A.R really is not as confident on the brakes as G.E.A.R. is, you know, it's like the last name brothers. I'm waiting to see last name and last name come from the fighting list in a moment, but generally these guys really going at it. You know, we're only an hour and 15 left in this race, so there's a lot of time left for these guys to go, and a lot of time left for these guys to, you know, make mistakes, make positions, and, you know, have a good little race of it all.
So of course these GT1s, when they were originally raced back in the 90s, they would have been, what, 3-hour-long races? So this is pretty much half of what they will run in the real world series, and that just means that
the seat down the inside of Barron into the on the exit of the hairpin, side by side as they come through, where Hamilton and Massa crashed a few years ago. Into that fast left hand, it's sort of a heavy break to them. You sort of want to trail break your way through, as the seat's going to have to go wide. Is they going to be right in front of Pablo Benotti? Not going to work. So Howard Barron keeps the position from the seat, and the seat trying his best to get that place back, just not making it work. I'm really sorry to cut you off there, Joe, but I saw that happening right in front of my face, and so needed to pick up on it.
Oh no, it's absolutely fine. I completely forgot what I was talking about now anyway. But what I was going to mention is the fact that Reynolds and Berger, I just noticed on my overlay that they had swapped around positions just a moment ago. They've already got about 3.5 seconds between them, so I think Reynolds has actually made another mistake on track. This is now 5 seconds behind what is the podium. 1 minute, I've realised what's happened. Berger was in second, he's gone off the track somewhere, he's down to fifth, because Vandergeest is up to second, Maxine to third. There you go, I worked out what happened.
Yeah, I was about to say, because that Ferrari was the second place Ferrari, the very similar skin to the leading Lamborghini, those two running 1 and 2. And now Vandergeest and Mike can sort of calm their breath a bit. They're not fighting for a podium, they're just fighting for second. So what I'm just basically saying is they're not going to calm there, they're going to continue as plans. Be mental and take each other out of the podium.
No, to be fair, I think they should calm down a little bit. They're still rather close together, continue running together. 2 of the 3 drivers that were in front of them have gone and made mistakes. They just need to keep it consistent, make it 3 out of 3 drivers in front of them that make mistakes, and then all Ike has to do is wait for a mistake from Vandergeest, or even try to get an overtake in within the final quarter of an hour. But right now, with how long they've got left, to try and keep it consistent, and you should see mistakes from drivers around you, as they have. Yeah,
and they'd inevitably make a mistake yourself towards the end of the race, because you are one of the leaders. It seems like the podium spots are currently sort of ones that are causing bad luck at the moment, and yeah, I had a similar problem with that, and I've just noticed that Nathan Lockie actually made a mistake as well, because he's down to 11. So he's dropped behind, you know, Chris Hall and Johnny Gutierrez, and lost a lot of time. So he made a mistake. A lot of drivers making mistakes in these cars, and, you know, all of them seeming to not be the, well, I was about to say all seeming to not be the Ferrari 507, but then again, that's what Berger was driving, so that's what went out of my mouth. But that's all away from the hike a bit, it seems, as well.
Yeah, these cars are difficult to drive. It's the first time they're getting down on the track. It's the first time they're getting down in these cars for some of them. This track for most of them, because it's not one that you just optionally go off and drive. It's not one that comes to your mind very often. This is probably the first time they've given this car track combination, and it's the first time most of them are racing them. I know you see a lot of names in other series such as the G.E.A.R series and the Group C series, but most of these names haven't actually competed against each other before, and therefore not only are you learning the car, the track, but also learning how everyone else behaves. And ultimately that creates the opening round, one of the biggest rounds for mistakes, and it will settle down as the season goes on and make the final race absolutely amazing, because everyone knows how each other is.
Yeah, as you say that, it's Viper versus Stelline again, because Massif is going to go down the inside into the hairpin on Baron. And he's got the move done for now, but is the cutback going to work? He's not even going to get the cutback. He's going to hold the place as they come into the fast left-hander. And now Baron's got Panotti on his outside. He's got to be very careful. He don't want to make a mistake or make too much contact early on in this race. Oh, boys, calm it, boys. Thank you, lads. That means that the seat is up a place here into, well, what is now P6 for him. P7 for Baron, P8 for Panotti, P9 for Hall, and P10 for G.E.A.R. So these guys really showing their qualities in racecraft. And I was right, he's gapping Simon Pike, so maybe he's fully split now.
He's also slightly pulling up to Ricciardi as well. There was about 6.5 seconds between them last lap. It's down to 5.5 this time. So I think actually he is improving not only on Pike but on the entire field right now as he's trying to catch down that race lead.
Yeah, definitely is Baron. Oh my god, Baron very close to the back of the Viper through the final corner, nearly making contact through the final corner. And very close indeed. An hour and 8 minutes left here in this 90-minute race. So already had 22 minutes of racing and only not 7 laps. Sorry, I'm completely wrong in every way, shape and form, but very much some amazing racing in the short space of time that we've been running as Baron goes a bit wide and he probably would have liked. Might allow Massif to gap him a small bit. But there is a run for Pablo Panotti coming down the back straight on the back of his Stelline counterpart. Is he going to make a move on the inside? No, he's going to brake early. Maybe go for the run on the exit. Very smart driving by Panotti. Seeing him race a good few times there. Oh! As we say that, Neil Rocks has gone off. That was a 4th place car, I believe.
No, that was he was a lap down. I think he actually dived out of the way after making a mistake. I think he decided to stay off the track to allow these 5 cars through.
Yeah, very slow indeed. Hopefully not got any problems in Lamborghini. Definitely would be a shame to have problems this early on into the 90-minute race. Obviously it does happen. And already coming up to lap traffic, Dario Walker and Rob Milliken, the first 2 cars for the lap that that will charge his pace. And yeah, well, you were right, that 6-1 previous lap, and that goes for 1.55. But very slow previous lap by Ricciardi.
1.52 for Van der Beek as well, so he has closed down another couple of tenths on that.
3 tenths currently. It's the gap. Absolutely phenomenal driving by these guys.
But I think we're definitely going to see Van der Beek catch up. We knew he was fast, we were waiting for that pace, and he's showing it now that he's got into that 2nd position. He hasn't got to worry about getting past 2 other cars. All he's got to worry about is looking for the clean air out of the track, getting around these back markers, and just wishing to try and catch up to Ricciardi. Ricciardi's not going to be pushing as hard. He's got the lead. He doesn't have to worry about it. Still got an hour and 6 minutes to really, I think it's the strategy going to be coming into play here of what these drivers are thinking about doing compared to how hard they're pushing out on track. Like, we haven't actually looked into what the pit stops are needed for these cars, whether they need to do tyres, fuel, what's going to happen. But if they are pitting, then ultimately Ricciardi could be pulling off ever so slightly on his pace to save some fuel and save his cars.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously he's now got that buffer of traffic, so he doesn't have to worry so much on where he gained on Dario Walker on the straight. Van der Beek is closing in on all the twisty, turny stuff, so that might be a bit of a problem for John Van der Beek, but we'll keep an eye on it to see how John is doing compared to traffic. Obviously 155 for John last time and 155.5 for Simon Pike, so Pike running similar pace. The back-marking Lamborghini gets well out of the way. Much respect to the Lamborghini of Dario Walker, keeping out of the way of these guys. Nice to see them getting out of the way. Obviously, GT1 lapping rules are sort of similar to Formula 1 from as far as I can remember. Obviously, same class racing, get out of the way as quick as you can, don't hold them up too much. Obviously, you know, if you go into the middle of a corner and they catch you, yeah, that's fair game, but obviously make sure you keep out of the way. Rob Milliken, the next car for Davide Ricciardi, currently 5 seconds slower than the race leader that lap. He's going to dive it fully right and let the race leader slipstream the back of him come by as quick as possible. Now the Lamborghinis go side by side. Rob goes, you have the racing line, I'll get out of your way.
Van der Geest just put in a personal best lap last time around, 155.0, so he has really catched up with Ricciardi. In fact, it's under 5 seconds between the two drivers.
Yeah, 6/10 he gained that lap, that last time by. 155.8, so he gained 8/10 over Simon Pike that time as well. So Pike even slower that last time. So Pike really either saving or really struggling in that car at the moment with this early on. As Derry Walker makes no mistake, I saw a Lamborghini off in the background. I thought, is that the 4th place car make a mistake? No, it isn't. But as I say, yeah, you remember Reinhard Berger very close to each other as well, running similar-ish lap times. So those guys definitely fighting each other in the near future.
Well, they were the ones Berger was in second and Rummers in third before they had their respective mistakes. So they both have the pace to be on the podium. They're both going to want to be there, but they're both also going to want to have that 4th position for us. So I think we're going to see them throw each other up a little bit as they fight for that 4th, which they've got, what, 10 seconds? They can make that back if they work together to catch up to it. I don't think they will. I think a racer's mindset, you're not thinking about the long game, you're just thinking, I want this position here and now, so I'm going to fight everything for it.
Yeah, definitely. Those two really going to be focused on that as Rob Milliken gets as far out of the way as possible, it seems, whilst John Van der Geest closes up through the hairpin onto the back straight. Rob Milliken seeing the Vista in his mirrors. John getting as much slipstream in the back of Rob as possible. Excuse me, Mr. Admin, would you like to get out of the way of the other admin? He'll please come through and take the lead of this race. It was 155.5 that last time by Van der Geest. That was 155.6, so only a 10th game that last lap for John, for the floundering Dutchman, as he is now known after his performance in the G.E.A.R Multiclass Endurance Series. Simon Pike, 156.3. Oh, he is struggling in that car, I feel. I believe that Ferrari is really having some problems now. So definitely some pace being dropped.
London, 17th position, down pit lane. I'm not too sure whether that is a scheduled stop or for fuel. Just trying to have a little look here. Can't actually see his car. It looks like it was actually a scheduled stop. He wasn't down pit lane for very long. That could be for fuel, which could indicate he under-fueled at the start to go for the rest of the race now. Could that mean that we'll see some more drivers in a little bit later?
Well, that would mean half an hour on fuel, which would mean he'd be doing, which would mean that cars could respectively maybe be having the same sort of pit cycle as LMP2s or GTs. We'll see coming in, because a lot of the cars that are going quicker might be running it a bit longer. Rob Milliken gets out of the way. Rob Milliken gets out of the way. Simon Pike. Lap times last time by 155.5 to a 155.6, unless my Delta hasn't updated, which I wouldn't be surprised if it hasn't, because it is my Delta, and my Delta never likes updating itself. But definitely those guys really trying to push each other. And as you said, those guys have gone fourth. Your own Remus has lost the place to Reinhard Berger, so, Reinhard Berger's gapped him, so we're going to see those guys close up very soon indeed.
There's about 10.5 seconds between Berger and Pike, and they did lose about a second. Berger and Rummers lost about a second with their battle. Wasn't very long, he's through, he's into fourth, and I'm sure both of them will be trying to catch up to Pike, and I think it will be a nice easy job for Berger. Still got an hour to do it. That's what, a second every 6 minutes. I think that Berger can do that pretty nice and easily. So I think a podium still is on the card. It's going to be how quickly can he do it, and will he be able to catch up to Van der Geest and
Yeah, definitely. With Van der Geest running pretty consistent lap times at the moment, John has been running really consistent lap times, which is nice to see. It will be a case of how consistently quicker can we be for this phase of the race. Under an hour to go now, 59 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. But plenty of time, still what seems like no time at all is plenty of time indeed. There's only not a lot of time.
You said time quite a lot there, I'm not too sure what you were trying to get at. No, I don't think he's there at the moment. So we have actually gone half an hour now, and we do have still in the race. I'm actually looking at the battle between the 6th and Baron right now in 6th and 7th position. They still continue to remain rather close in their battle. Half a second right now as they head out of the final turn. A little bit of a slide from the 6th. We've got Baron all over the rear as they head across the timing line there. So we've got some technical issues, unfortunately, at the moment for Alex. He should be back shortly. But right now we are looking at this fight then, and it's going to be Baron stuck on the outside and sit on the inside line. It's a really good attempt there by Baron. He's going to hold the outside line. The Gold Viper can't quite hold the speed on the exit, and it looks like it is going to be Baron's opportunity on the outside line. Who's going to get the better braking zone here? Who's going to brake later? It looks like the Viper's already ahead. Dives across just before the braking zone and almost right into the back goes Baron. Runs wide, but through goes Assetto. Holds on to 6th position now, but Baron's still all over the rear. In fact, he switches it across to the left-hand side. He's going to be on the other side. Backs out of it, slows down, and they're going to continue on here. 6th and 7th position. 2 second they both do another little bit of a wobble as they continue through the middle sector of the circuit. Just a few corners to go now. Long right-hander. Baron sits all over the end of the 6th right now. Matheus, you haven't said anything in a while. Would you like to contribute to this battling that's going on in 6th and 7th?
Yeah, sure. I haven't said anything in a while because there is a rainstorm happening right now and it's quite loud. So, yeah, it might interfere with the stream, I don't know.
Yeah. I can't hear it at all, it's absolutely fine.
Okay, then. I keep myself unmuted. I'm here just watching Massive, just battling just defending that position really well. These guys know how to give space for each other.
They go into turn number 1, just a little bit of a lock up on the front right of Baron. He loses a little bit of time through it, but he's doing a fantastic job to remain all over the rear. And you've seen that they've been battling pretty much since the start of this race. They haven't been more than a couple of seconds between each other in this fight. And it's absolutely fantastic to see because this is the top 6 and it's great.
It's really good as we can see, we still have battles. Not even like, we still have battles from the 8th position. Like for the 6th position, sorry. We can see at the back of the pack, no one has given up yet. You know, they are battling for their positions.
Yeah, you've got everyone battling for positions, and you can see that in fact everyone's still going, even with the achievements coming off the track. We've only had one retire, and that's Andrew Harper.
Yeah.
And I believe that was because he actually ran out of fuel before he was able to reach his pit box, which is why he ended up retiring. But the continuing battle, I'm looking at Gutierrez and Finotti right now. Finotti, a name that was really big in the Group C series that I was broadcasting. He's not all the way up to the top of the grid, but top 10 is still great. Gutierrez is all over the rear right now. They're in the middle of the course, 2 tenths between them, which is the same as the gap between Massive and Baron. So we've got a couple of battles going on with the top 10 right now as they continue to up towards the final time.
Pinati, there was a big name on the Group C G.E.A.R series, a big name on the G.E.A.R multi-class series, a big name on here, RSS GT1. He's just a really good driver. He can just sit in a car and just race. Really good driver, really skillful driver, you know.
Yeah, a very skilled driver as well. And to be fair, actually I'd say all of the drivers here are extremely skilled, because to be able to get into a series like this, be able to battle without, well, we've had a few taps and bumps here and there, but to be able to run as clean as they have, and as fast as majority of the crew are, you've got to be skilled to do this type of racing, and all of the drivers out there on this track are very skilled indeed. But right now it is still Ricciardi in the lead by 5 seconds, about 35 minutes into this race. It is Van der Geest in second position right now, and he's been sort of holding that 5-second gap for the last about 10-15 minutes. He hasn't been closing in too much. I'm not too sure if we will, if maybe that's Van der Geest pulling off, maybe doing that fuel saving, tyre saving himself, or whether it is just because Ricciardi's picked up the pace once more. I don't have every single lap time like Alex was getting, yeah, he's doing a fantastic job to run in second position. Of course, gifted that from Berger and Mummer's mistake. That's just ultimately what racing is, and certainly 90-minute races is about consistency.
And you can see by Ricciardi's times and how the way he drives, he's very smooth around the corners. He just feathers the throttle. He don't want to spin the rear tires. He don't want to lock up the front tires. He's not pushing the absolute limit on his car, and still keeping that 5-second gap between him and Van der Geest in second place.
Just trying to keep it as you say, consistent as possible in that 5-second gap. I mean, the gap between Van der Geest and Pike is continuing to increase. It's now up to 6.5 seconds. So that's just suggesting that it is Ricciardi who's picked up the pace. Van der Geest still doing the same type of lap times that he was putting in earlier on. Most of your field now getting into a rhythm at this stage in the race. There are a couple of battles still going on the track, notably and Finotti and Gutierrez for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. I mean, we've got Shenko and Rodriguez, 14th, 15th, they're relatively close to each other as well, within about a second. For the most part, it feels they've now started to settle themselves down where they're going to be in this race and just basically remain as consistent as possible, get through the next 52 minutes. Whether that's a pit stop or not with a pit stop, we should have to wait and see. But of course, we've already seen Londo's down pit lane. In fact, we have Walker down pit lane, but he's been there for quite some time. I don't hear an engine running in this Mercedes engine right now. I assume he doesn't have an engine running because when you're filling up, you have to turn your engine off in this. No, that is a disconnect for Walker, so it is going to be a retirement, and the second retirement of the night, which isn't bad in 40 minutes of racing. Only see 2 drivers end their race early out of 22 to start. Continuing on right now, and it looks like Van der Geest can actually see Gutierrez when they're on the straight. So he still has someone to look towards to try and catch up. It's not like he's just trying to race against his own laps right now. At least he has a visual aid to keep him motivated. Right, they've all actually got a 3-car battle going on. Hill has closed up Finotti and Gutierrez in the battle for 8th position. Now 8th, 9th and 10th position. That's because Hill just went 1 second faster on the previous lap alone. So they are very close together going through turn number 1. And I'm sure Hill will try to do something within this lap to get him at a point he can overtake both the drivers in front of him. Sitting at the very bottom of the top 10 right now. A little bit of a wobble from Gutierrez out of turn number 3 in the slipstream here as they head on down the straight. You can see a little bit of slipstream between himself and Gutierrez. They continue on. Doesn't look like anyone will be able to go for an overtake this time. All a bit too far back. In fact, Hill has gone straight forwards through that turn, trying to go for the better and faster exit. Will it have paid out? No, it won't. He's dropped off a little bit. It's got down to 7 tenths of a minute, so about 4 tenths he's lost in the first sector alone. Is that because of the pressure maybe that he can see all behind? As Rammers is gone off. Jerome Rammers is off the circuit, facing 90 degrees off the track. He's back on now, but down in 10th position. So that is a lot of time lost there for the Lamborghini driver. That moves Berger. Berger was already in 4th. That moves Massit up to 5th, Baron to 6th, and then that battle between Pinotti, and Hill now becomes a battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th position.
And you can see Hill is just closing the gap constantly on Gutierrez. I think he has a better setup car for tire wear, because the car drinks for you and you get lighter at some time, and you can have a setup for like late racing and stuff like that, because he'll just close that gap on the last 5 laps on Gutierrez like crazy. It was really fast.
Indeed, he has closed a lot of time in the past few laps. In fact, Rammers has come down pit lane after the spin, which indicates, yes, everyone will be pitting this race, because the fact that he's come down pit lane after just a spin, he's not throwing away what was still a top 10. He's going to do the pit stop now, then he's going to come back out. That's just going to happen with him, I believe. In fact, Rodriguez also down pit lane now. We are coming up to the halfway stage, which could indicate why Hill's setup is working more than Gutierrez's. Maybe they are going 45 minutes with both stints running them midway on pit stop. Could work out because you know exactly how well the car's going to handle, what's going to happen to your tyres, to your fuel levels. So it could be a
little bit early on the throttle at that Hill, just almost lost his car.
In fact, he has lost quite a lot of time with it now, 3.5 seconds off of Gutierrez, so a big mistake there.
A little bit anxious on the throttle there.
Yeah, it's just one of those things though that sometimes you just get a bit too throttle happy as you're trying to catch up to someone and you make that small mistake. Hopefully he'll be able to catch back up some of that time though before the pit stops for him. As we've got Rammers back out on track once more. He's down in 17th position. He came into the pit in 10th position. Rodriguez, who also came down pit lane, he's out in 18th position. So right now Milliken and Rock are the only 2 drivers behind, and they haven't yet done pit stops. I don't believe. Actually, I think Rock now have done. Milliken certainly hasn't. They've just not been having the best races, but it is only about half a second between Rammers and Bosco as they continue. As Rammers is going to try and get back into the fight here with that mistake before his pit stop. He'll now be trying to disperse these drivers as quickly as possible on his fight up.
There Rocks that spun his car, going to the back straight corner there.
Oh yes,
rejoining now safely.
Yeah, it does a very good job of actually staying right out of the way whilst the drivers are going through. Now moves across off the racing line as well, just in case there are any cars coming through. And that's exactly how you should be doing the race after you spin on the outside, where the drivers are obviously going to be racing along. So good job by them. Runners have actually lost a little bit of time. Trying to maybe find a way back up in this fight, but not able to do so just yet. Hins down pit lane from 15th position. And he's going to slowly fall down the order, and it is that halfway point in this race, just more than 45 minutes. So the issue that actually why we saw Andrew Harper disappear after the opening stages of the race, I thought it was that fuel issue, the way he was rolling down through pit lane. But it turns out his brake was spiking whilst he was driving around the circuit, so his brakes were just basically being pressed at random points as he was heading around, which is a shame. But it is Simon Pike down pit lane from 3rd position. He's the first of our podium sitters to take to the pits in this race. He's falling down the order right now as Berger's already gone through the sit. Baron Pinotti, all the drivers drivers heading through. How long will Pike be there for, and where will he rejoin on the circuit? Ricciardi, Van der Geest still about 5 to 6 seconds between them, as we've got Hill into pit lane as well from 9th position, just behind Pike. It's still about half a second between Matheus and Barrows. These drivers, they are just not letting anything break up their fight. What will it be when they come down pit lane? Who's going to make that decision to come down pit lane first? And with Matheus being ahead, if he makes the decision to come down pit lane first, will Baron follow him absolutely immediately, or will he wait a lap and try to get almost an overcut in the race by filling up just a little bit less fuel to get to the end of the race? Pike and Hill both go down pit lane. In fact, Pike has just exited pit lane now. He's in 12th position on pit exit, so he's lost 9 positions in that pit stop and a lot of time, because everyone else is still yet to come down pit lane. Continue to watch this 4th and 5th position fight, because it is the closest one out on track, and it is for quite a good position. These drivers have been fighting all race long, as we have just done half of the race. We also, Dario Walker, we say goodbye to Dario Walker, he pitted. When he did do his pit stop, I did think he did pit stop, his game crashed on him, unfortunately, and Neil Rocks is our
just
third
disconnected on the server.
Yeah, he's just DNF, and I believe that is because he's not been having the best of races tonight. I've seen him go around multiple times.
Look at Matheus.
Ballard goes through up to 4th as Matheus is down pit lane. Finally doing the pit stop, and Baron did not decide to follow him through, so it looks like he is going to go further, but how much further is he going to go? Into turn number 3 goes Baron into at a stop. He's really come out behind Pike though. Pike is the driver who was highest in the event before he came down pit road. He's in 12th right now, so looking at the times, I'm thinking Matheus probably will come
Williams
out
just bidding now.
Yes, Williams also down pit lane, then 9th position before coming down the pits as Ipswich now go through up the order. Another focused name that we have to look at is Remmers. Remmers is about 20 seconds off of Pike as Pike moves into the top 10. And you've got to look at that gap between Pike and Remmers, of course, because Remmers was, what, in 10th position when he came down the pits after that mistake. So to be only 15 seconds behind, I think he's actually closed quite a lot of the gap during his second stint right now. But how hard is he pushing at this stage of the race is going to be the question. I don't know whether his tires will be able to take it to the end, and I'm sure he'll be trying as hard as he possibly can. Still looking at Ricciardi and Van der Geest. It's actually increased a little bit of time, and that is because Van der Geest has now come down pit lane. He was holding steady at about 6 seconds between himself and Ricciardi. He is now going to do his pit stop. With Reinhard Berger also down pit lane. So are the drivers now getting to the limit of what their cars can go? Because Alan Baron is also down pit lane. Where will he come out in relation to Matheus, who is in 12th position ahead of Remmers?
And Finati and Gutierrez still on the track. Gutierrez now with the best, personal best 155.9.
Moving into 3rd position for now as well. Of course, still need to do that pit stop. Now upwards turn number 3. There's actually only a second between these as Jerome Remmers
Disconnected from the survey.
Oh no! Not good. He was on a recovery drive after his mistake, and I think that might have been a game crash or a disconnect more than a retirement within that, because I didn't even see his name light up yellow saying he had spun, so I think that was just unfortunately an issue more than a mistake.
Let's have a look on Simon Piquet. He's just going through the straight on pits, getting a couple of positions, one position there.
Yep. Actually, yes, he's up to 9th, but Baron and Matheus is the ones that we have to notice at. Baron's heading out of the pits now, but here comes Matheus. Who's going to come out ahead? Baron rejoins the track. He is ahead and he has jumped Massett, so the overcut has worked. Bearing in mind they've gone the entire first 45 minutes of the race within a second of each other. They're now 3 seconds, and Baron has jumped Massett, so the 1 lap later has definitely worked out for Baron, just under-fueling that car a little bit.
And John Van der Geest left pits in 5th position. Really, really fast pits.
Yes, actually, I completely forgot that Van der Geest had pitted with how high up he was. Yes, 5th position. Really good to be sitting in there. The next driver, of course, who's behind him, who's pitted, would be Pike. And what, that's about 20 seconds between the two of them? That is a lot of time, actually. That could, if Ricciardi does a similar pit stop time to Pike, that will be the lead for Van der Geest. It's going to be interesting to see how long Ricciardi's pit stop is going to be when he eventually comes down pit lane. No indication of him doing that anytime soon. Ashenko and Pitchler swap around in 6th and 7th position.
Ashenko and Pitchler battling from the first lap of this race.
Right, but of course I'm noticing it now that they're up in 6th and 7th position because of everyone pitting. But yeah, I definitely have seen their names very close together down in the lower half of the field. But right now, both of them out on track without a pit stop to their names. They are going for quite good positions. They've got Berger about a second behind them right now. So these drivers really going at it. Was coming up to the final third of the race, the final half an hour, as they come through turn number 3. Although it looks like Pitchler's car has a little bit of damage on the left-hand side of that track. Very slow through turn number 3. He's got Berger all over the rear now. And surely this will be the overtaking opportunity for the Ferrari as they head down towards the end of the straight. He looks to the inside. He's actually going to go to the inside of Pitchler. Pitchler runs the outside line, maybe trying to split back on the exit. He does try it, not going to work out, and Berger through nice and easily up into 7th position. Pitchler still all over the rear end though as they come through the middle part of the course. A really nice overtake there for Berger. Down in 8th position. We've got Bosca down pit lane now from 14th position as the battle for 2nd is still ongoing. Finotti and G.E.A.R. is about half a second between them right now. They remain out on track. They're still not coming down pit lane as the leader is also still out on track with that pit stop to his name. So it's interesting to see the strategy being played here. We saw some drivers come out pit road just half an hour into this race. Surely that means that these drivers can go 1 hour. If the driver's pitted after 30 minutes, that will be their one and only pit stop. They're going to go for a further hour. These drivers might have filled up full fuel, going to that hour mark, and then filling up just a little bit less fuel, trying to save time. Because of course, filling fuel in these cars is quite a lot of time, and the less you have to fill up, the shorter your pit stop's going to be, the more time you're going to gain over the drivers who pitted a lot earlier. 4 tenths from second number 3. Finotti and G.E.A.R. as they continue to run in 2nd and 3rd position for now. The positions that I'm really used to seeing these drivers, not down in the bottom half of the top 10 that we've been seeing most part of this race, but when will they come down pit lane is the question. Driver who is in 2nd position, already done his pit stop. Van der Geest sitting in 5th right now. Pike, who was in 3rd, sitting in 9th position right now. And Baron and Massett, the two drivers we've been watching so hard for their fights in 5th and 6th position, is actually they're about 1 second between each other again. They have closed up since their pit stops. Of course, Baron jumping Massett quite well and with quite a few seconds between them, but they are now back to 1 second and could be back to a fight as Massett has been closing in these past 2 laps. He's obviously had 1 extra lap out on track, getting back into the rhythm, getting the tyres up to temperature. He could be a little bit of an advantage to Baron right now, but that is still 1 additional lap of tyre wear come the end of the race, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it could be the...
Not in Gutierrez on the pit lane.
Yes, Finotti and Gutierrez, second and third position, come down pit lane, and that should move Lockie into that podium. If he don't, no, he's going to come down pit lane as well. So through goes Van der Geest, and he will move into second position once more with a pit stop already to his name. So that means David Ricciardi still out in the lead, still needs to pit. There is 1 minute and 3 seconds between Ricciardi and Van der Geest, as Nathan Lockie did actually miss slightly his pit box as they were coming in. So Van der Geest actually up to second, but who is going to move into third? For now, it is Berger. Then it is Pitchler, but the driver who was originally in third, Pike, sitting in fifth right now. Berger and Pitchler, they still got to come down pit lane, I believe. So that should put Pike back into the top 3. And that's what, 4 cars down pit lane right now. All maybe one should come out, I think. But that was quite a few drivers coming down pit lane with 35 minutes to go in this race, which is up towards the final third. As David Ricciardi is down pit lane from your race lead, Van der Geest is coming in towards the final sector of the lap. So, how long is Ricciardi's pit stop going to be? And will Van der Geest actually be able to jump? We know Van der Geest's pit stop was extremely quick compared to Pike, but what will Ricciardi's be? He's pitted a little bit later, about 10 minutes later than Van der Geest. That'll be less fuel needed in the car, but what is it going to be? Ricciardi still at a stop. In fact, he's not going to get out of the... Right, I should be back. Hello. I do apologise for that. I moved my leg and it unplugged my microphone. I am back. And what I was mentioning was the fact that, yes, that was a nice jump by Van der Geest for that, for the lead in the race. There's about 3.5 seconds now between himself and Ricciardi. But, of course, Ricciardi is going to be on fresher tyres during this stint of the race for the next half an hour. So this should be advantage to Ricciardi for the final part of the event. So coming through now up towards the final part of the course, Van der Geest leading your way with 31 minutes to go. David Ricciardi in second, and Berger currently in third position. As we saw, Pitchler has come down pit lane. We are waiting for Berger to come down pit lane. Actually, has he done a pit stop? Because I know Berger and Pike were battling for that position, weren't they? Has he jumped Pike by about 10 seconds? That actually seems right, because that's how much Ricciardi was able to jump Pike by. So I think Berger's actually moved in third position. Do you have any stats on how many pit stops he's done?
Berger, I think he has done 1 pit stop, because there's 30 minutes. We are 1 hour deep, and you cannot do 1 hour on these cars, on the few on these cars.
No, I thought not. So actually, it is now. That is your podium. So Berger is in third, and Pike has lost out with that pit stop. He lost quite a bit of time. In fact, he lost, what was it, about 20 seconds to Ricciardi. He's lost even more time to Berger, down to 4th position. So another reason why one of our drivers retired. So Remmers unfortunately retired from the event because his wheel cut out, which is a shame. So it just seems like a few issues for everyone tonight. Harper had the issue with the brakes. Walker had the issue with the what was it again? Game crash. That's what it was. And Remmers are having to retire because of his wheel cutting out, and that's just a few issues. I mean, ultimately, it's something that you get with sim racing. It's like real world motorsport. You'll have the engine issues. You'll have the different mechanical problems, and you get it with sim racing. It's just unfortunately something that happens. It's disappointing. But you get to move on. We've still got 4 more rounds in the championship. Of course, this is the only opening round of the series, and it's some fantastic circuits coming up. In fact, all the circuits that we have coming up, this is probably, I say it's a fantastic track, it really is, but it's still probably one of the worst ones on the calendar, because the calendar is so well chosen for these cars. It's going to be an absolutely great season. We have got less than half an hour to go.
And as we said earlier today, this is a first. This is for most of the drivers. This is a first combo, first experience on these cars. Most of the drivers, first experience on this track as well as the first experience on this car track combo. So it's a little bit hard on every single driver here, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I find it difficult to learn any new car, and I have to put in hundreds of hours to be able to finally get up to the pace that some of these drivers are. Just to see a number of them just jump into the car for the first time this week and be able to put in the lap times and the consistency that they are tonight. It's absolutely fantastic. As in fact, Londes just goes off the track. He's going to come back down pit lane. He was actually the first driver to pit at the half-hour mark. He's down pit lane again, which is a shame. He was into the top 10. Back up towards your leaders though, we have got to pay attention to this, because Ricciardi is within a 1 second of Van der Geest, and that's one of two things happening right now. Ricciardi's tyres are so fresh, he's able to gain this time on Van der Geest. Ricciardi's on soft tyres and Van der Geest is on mediums, which I'm thinking is probably very likely. But what that does mean in either one of those situations is Ricciardi is pushing his tyres too hard right now. He's got half an hour in this race. He did not need to close down 4 seconds within 3 minutes, but he has done it. He's there now. He can ease off a little bit. Just try and pressure Van der Geest. He's got the speed. He just needs to make sure that he keeps his tyres alive for the end of this race, because it's all good being 4 or 5 seconds ahead in the lead, but with about 10-15 minutes to go. But that 5 minute mark, the moment that your tyres get to where they are when they die, you can't control your car in the final 5 minutes, then you've thrown away the lead. But they are still very close to the head up in towards turn number 1, half a second between them. In fact, Ricciardi maintaining that half a second right now as they continue through up towards turn number 3. Trying a little bit of a switchback almost attempt there by Ricciardi, trying the outside line, couldn't quite turn in. That is a fastest lap though, twice in a row from Ricciardi. He's now all over the rear end of Van der Geest as they head up towards turn number 4. On the outside is Ricciardi, and easily done it already. Van der Geest is just going to allow the Lamborghini through, not going to fight it. A little bit of a lock up on the front right tyre. Van der Geest is going to drop in behind, and I think that's because Van der Geest is just basically going to say, look, I'm going to remain consistent, I'm going to save my tires, I'm going to save my fuel, I'm going to get to the end of this race. And that's going to be another question of how much fuel did both of these drivers fill up their machines by, because it's going to be dependent on how much they're going to have to do some fuel saving, or whether they can literally push as hard as they need to in relation to how much their tyres are going to be worn down. So they're continuing on through, but it is Ricciardi back into the lead, pulling a small little gap on Van der Geest right now. And once again, I have to point out that battle between Baron and Matheus, because it's still half a second, and it has been for an hour now between the two of them. I don't know who's going to come out on top, but it's a battle for 6 between Baron and Matheus at the moment. And actually, was Finotti, I'm sure, was behind these guys at one point.
Yeah, he was, and they were 7, 6, 7, and 8. Finotti in the F position early on the race, and these guys are changing positions left and right all the time, the whole race, the whole 1.5 hours. It's crazy how close these two are from each other.
It's just going to be quite. I couldn't even put a bet on it right now. I couldn't put a bet on it at the start of the race, but even now I can't say definitively who I think is going to win out of these two drivers, who's going to get that higher position, because both of them have sort of been making those small slides, those small mistakes you've seen there by Matheus. Both of them are showing some really good driving. They're showing each other great sportsmanship in how much they leave each other room and how little they go for some of the small gaps, because obviously in some racing a small gap opens up and a driver wants to head straight for it. These two, they're being very cautious of each other, being very courteous as well, and they're just allowing each other to have that additional room, and they are showing in true endurance racing sport in this hour-and-a-half race. They're not going for every position the moment they can get it. They're waiting for the opportunity to open up, and I think that's why we've seen them within 1 second of each other constantly, as Finotti actually is going really fast around track right now. Personal best last time around, a 155.4, which is about 0.3 of a second off of Van der Geest's personal best. So actually it's quite close between Finotti's personal best and Van der Geest, meaning that he is really pushing on and might be able to catch up to Pike. It is a 12-second gap, but well, he's got 24 minutes. Try and gain half a second per minute, and you've done it. But Finotti, I think, is going to be happy with the 5th position. Start of this race, he was lucky to be in the top 10. So right now, I think he's going to be pretty happy, running absolutely nowhere near anyone. He's got 8 seconds to the car behind him. He's got 12 seconds to the car ahead. He's just got to remain consistent right now, and I think that's how he's pushing in personal best. He's got that space out on track. Van der Geest closing up to Ricciardi a little bit this time by. Actually, he's lost 0.3 of a second that lap, but around the final sector at least, he did close in a little bit to Ricciardi. So I'm not too sure who's going to come out on top between the two of them either as we head up towards the final 20 minutes of this race. It certainly is getting into that sprint time for these drivers, where they'll be pushing as hard as they possibly can. Hill and Nathan Lockie battling for the bottom end of the top 10, 9th and 10th position. It's Lockie behind Hill right now, about 0.2 of a second between them. Ferrari leading the way. A little bit of a wobble from Lockie as he runs slightly wide, gets back onto the track right now. 0.6 as he loses a little bit of time with that, but bouncing over the curbing, and around he goes as he gets that curbing into the barrier. A little bit of a tap, avoids the barrier on the other side track, will get going again. He's still in 10th position, but he's now quite a while down behind Hill. So that is a real shame for Nathan Lockie, but at least he holds on to the top 10. Londes, though, is about 2 seconds behind, so still very, very close for Lockie and a position, but it's the wrong way for him. He doesn't want to be under attack. He wants to be the man attacking someone else. The pressure can get to you, and that's exactly what's happened there. Massett still trying to keep in touch with Baron. He's doing a fantastic job, and like you said, they've been changing all race long, so I don't know who's going to come out on top or when the next overtake is going to be. But, oh, sorry, as they close up towards each other there through turn number 4. And hand up towards the left-hander. Van der Geest and Ricciardi back within half a second of each other. Across the timing line they go, and that was a 0.3 improvement for Van der Geest, so he's close 0.3 for Ricciardi that time by. They got a couple of back markers ahead as they go through, and up towards turn number 4. Who is that in the back marker? It's a Lamborghini. I don't know who's in that car, but they come on through. Hopefully he'll move out of the way along the way. Right, it's Rob Milliken, so he definitely will move out of the way.
We know a driver that manages traffic very, very, very well because of the rFactor 2 endurance, the G.E.A.R endurance series is Van der Geest. He knows how to gain time on traffic, and he knows how to manage it, you know, safely. Very fast driver on traffic and solo too.
Indeed, he's got through past Milliken, and actually, you say that like he has lost a little bit of time to it. He lost a second with that back marker, and that will be because Ricciardi did get the stitch to him, obviously, by being all over the Milliken, but then Van der Geest had to back out a little bit through turn 4, so he did lose a little bit of time with that, but I'm sure he'll close it back in again.
Yep. about the battle between Matheus and Baron. Baron has a straight line car. He's much faster than the Dodge Viper on the straight. Matheus has a really corner monster, as I experienced early on in practice. This car corners like crazy. It's really sticky to the ground. It's really torquey because it's a V10 naturally aspirated, and it bites like crazy coming out of the corner. So if Matheus could use his size in his car to his favor around the middle sector, he could catch up to Baron really quickly and just hold there behind until the end of the race and just like pull off a position or something.
Yeah, definitely he could, but I don't know why he's dropped off a little bit just now though. I mean, 1.5 seconds is one of the biggest gaps that they've had all race long, but he's definitely going to try and keep it together until the end, like you said, just maybe try and take back position right at the end of the race. And I'm thinking that's what we'll see from Ricciardi and Van der Geest, but actually since Ricciardi took the lead, he's backed out of it a little bit as well. He's slowed down because Van der Geest is all over his rear end again. And I just think that maybe Ricciardi was pushing at the start of this stint, wear down his tyres a little bit, but now he's starting to save them for the end of the race. And we might have a really good fight within the final 10 minutes for the lead, as we will probably for Baron and Matheus in 6th and 7th as well.
Oh yeah, and I'm looking forward to that.
I think everyone's looking forward to a fight for the lead. It's one of the best sort of fights you can have. Backmark jumping out of the way, they're off the track for the 2 race leaders. In fact, that's really allowed Van der Geest to get all over the rear of Ricciardi. They're slightly different racing lines, but that was a really good advantage to Van der Geest as the backmarker jumped out of the way, slowed down Ricciardi ever so slightly. And I don't know, I think the way how quickly Van der Geest caught up, I think he had a bit of a off-putting moment into the next turn. I don't think he was expecting to get so close. It might have scared him a little bit.
They came closer to a 0.05 second gap between them.
Well, that just shows, I think, yeah, Van der Geest definitely jumped out of the way in that. Because how close they got, he wasn't. I don't think anyone was expecting him to close what he was about 0.8 of a second down, so going through the turn. So to be that close to each other out of the turn, I think it definitely scared him a little bit. It's dropped him off ever so slightly, but he's back within a second again compared to what he was when they were trying to get past Milliken. So
2 seconds faster than Ricciardi around this lap.
That just shows you he is really closing in, and I think he's pushing now. So when what sort of tyres are they running though? I think I normally have an app that loads up and tells me what tyres they're running, but unfortunately it keeps on crashing, so I don't know. I'm assuming Van der Geest probably on those medium compounder tyres. Apparently, David Ricciardi was on the hard compounds for the first stint. Now he did run an hour on that first stint, so I can't expect him to be on the hards again on this stint. If anything, the mediums, I'm thinking probably the soft compounder tyres, because these drivers, I don't know how they do it, they manage their tyre wear so well.
Yeah.
Like, I get down into these cars, if I put on a medium compound tyres, they're dead in about 20 minutes. But these drivers can make them last, 45 minutes to an hour. They are just so smooth. So I think Ricciardi very possibly could be on a soft compound in this thing. As we are coming up towards the final 15 minutes in this race, then Ricciardi leads the way, only just ahead of Van der Geest. Van der Geest likes to be on the top step of the podium, but ultimately I think he just likes to be a consistent driver across the whole season. This is the opening round, so for everyone it's just to see what type of position they are expected to get for the rest of the season. We've got a 3-car fight going on between Hill, Lockie and Londes in 9th, 10th and 11th. I say a fight, there are a couple of tenths between each of them, but they're 3 cars that are still very close together at the bottom end of your top 10. In fact, Londes looking for the top 10 in his Ferrari with the 15 minutes to go. It is, they continue around, so it is, what is that, a Ferrari, then I believe it's the Celine. I'm not too sure. No, that's not the Celine, is it? That's the other one. That Nathan Matthews driving. I don't know the car.
It's a Lister Storm V12.
That's it. It's the Lista Storm. I was thinking it might be this. I couldn't remember the name of it. So it's the Ferrari, the Lista, and then the Ferrari again, coming around in that centre run, sort of a Ferrari sandwich, if you will. But that looks like a really nice run for Lockie, all over the rear end of Hill here. Might be able to try to get through. Of course, Lockie made that mistake, what, about 10 minutes ago, around this turn where he was all over the rear end of Hill. He's caught back up again, though. And we'll try to make the move through, heading up towards final turn. These are really close together. I don't know. I must say that actually, whilst we're looking at Nathan Lockie, his rear wing of "Show Me the Logo" is just the most confusing concept ever. I just don't understand it.
It's like name here template, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a template of where the logo is meant to be, and they just never replaced it. It's quite funny every time I see it. I think I need to do that for every single one of my racing liveries. It's just sponsor here. I should just do that everywhere. Continue to watch that. 9th, 10th, 11th. Hill, Lockie, Londes. Lockie is getting the slipstream from Hill now. Will he try to make an overtake? Moves to the inside, but won't go for the move just yet. Going to remain behind, following the usual racing line. The Ferrari behind, going a little bit deep. There's the two cars in front, get the curbing. Lockie pushes it to the curbing on the outside as well. He's really using every single part of this track that he possibly can, trying to make the track as wide as possible in his pursuit to get past Hill as they continue on through. Very close over the rear end now. Oh, slightly off the track goes Londes. He still remains straight, but he's lost a little bit of time. Lockie to the outside of Hill. Doesn't work on a very long right-hander. I believe you should know that, but Lockie's now learned to go on the outside of a very long corner or it never works. He's back to the outside again, but this time he backs out of it and trying to go for the exit by the look of it up towards the penultimate turn. He's on the outside again, but this time it looks like it'll work. There's contact though, as Hill locks up slightly. So does Lockie. Lockie pushed off the track down to 11th position. Londes up to 10th, and the Ferrari goes through. Lockie down a position in that overtake attempt. Across the timing line they go, as we've got less than 13 minutes to go in the race. The gap between your race leaders now 2 seconds. Ricciardi leading the way. Jean Van der Geest in 2nd position. Londes looked towards the inside of Hill slightly into turn number 3. In fact, he's got the inside on the exit. This could be a really good opportunity for Londes to get into 9th position. He's on the inside line and he's got slightly better speed across here. What will his braking be? Will he be able to get across on the inside? He's tried it. He's through. Hill not able to hold it on the outside line. He did try to do it, but Londes has made his car as wide as possible, and through he goes. Hill down at the 10th position, and now Lockie has got Hill to get back past again. But through they go. The yellow Ferrari runs slightly wide. In fact, that's going to put him under attack now from Nathan Lockie. What will Lockie do? He tried the outside last lap. Will he try the outside again this lap? He's going to do it as he swings to the inside line on the exit of the turn. This might actually work. He's got a little bit of overlap on the car. He's hanging it around the outside. The Ferrari trying to keep the speed up. In fact, he was squeezed out a little bit, but that's because he's tried to switch back to the other side of the track, now to the right-hand side of the track. He's on the outside once more, brakes early once again. He's going to go for the exit for sure. Going to try that inside, surely up towards penultimate turn. No, he can't do it because Londes goes defensive. He tries the outside again. There's a little bit of contact, only a tap this time though. They're back on, continuing again. Hill slightly wide to the inside line. Sorry, Lockie slightly wide to the inside line. Hill running the normal line, but that has allowed Londes to pull away ever so slightly from this fight. Hill remaining in 10th. Lockie stuck in 11th right now. Continuing up towards turn number 3, Chris Hill trying to be as defensive as possible, trying to leave as little room as possible for Nathan Lockie. They come through, we exit turn number 3. Lockie's got the slipstream on Hill. This should be a really good opportunity here up towards the braking zone. Remains behind for now, or does he? Looks to the inside, maybe just trying to pressure Chris Hill ever so slightly as they continue on through. We have got less than 10 minutes to go, and Van der Geest has closed up a further half a second to Ricciardi, so we might see those start to close up within the final 5 minutes, like I was saying with the tyre wear. But right now, it's this fight we're looking at, because even the fight between Baron and Matheus has opened up to 3.5 seconds, which is a real shame with how close they were to about an hour and 15 minutes of this race. But right now, the battle for the last position in the top 10 is continuing on as Rob Milliken dives down pit lane once again in this race. Slightly wide goes Chris Hill. Nathan Lockie trying the inside line. They continue around through. We know Lockie's faster in this part of the course. He's back to the outside line again. Once again breaks early. We know what's going to happen here. He's going to try the inside. Hill's going to go defensive, and then Lockie's going to go to the outside line again. Yeah, there you go. It's happened again. Not quite got any overlap this time. Maybe the switchback attempt there. It's worked a little bit. He's got the outside line, but not quite enough overlap. Once more, it looks like he's going to try the switchback on the exit. Will it work this time? No, he gets straight back onto the racing line. Hill holding on to 10th. 11th position is Lockie.
So I was here chatting with the stream, and I suggested doing a showcase for the RSS GT1 cars on famous tracks at night. Let me see who suggested Spa at night. It was...
One second, because Lockie and Hill have had a little bit of contact. We will continue this in a moment's time, but first, will Hill be able to defend from Lockie? We'll try this one corner because this is going to be his last attempt of the lap for now, and then we'll get back to that topic. He looks to the inside. No, he's going to remain behind once again. So I'm sorry for interrupting you. You may continue your discussion.
So people were suggesting showcasing RSS GT1 cars around famous tracks, Spa, Nordschleife, what else? Maybe Misano, maybe this track at night. And yeah, I think it's a good idea to entertain people during the week with those. Oh!
Oh! Lockie, big off! A big, huge off! He's back on the track now, but that is down to 12th. I don't know what happened. I think that was just a little bit of a slide. The way the camera angle was, he just drove into the camera, so I don't quite know what happened there. He's back on in 12th. That gives Hill a nice, comfortable position to be in 10th. But yeah, doing a showcase of these cars is absolutely fantastic. They are fantastic cars. I personally haven't driven any of them myself. I have only been
Oh, when Lockie has a lot of damage on the car, just lost the rear end again. Oof. That's
yeah, he's going to definitely have to pit for that. With what, 7 minutes left in the race, you can expect him to stay in the race. But he'll probably come down pit lane to repair the damage. We shall see here. He stays wide. Nope, he's going to continue on. Right, he just wants to go now for the final 6.5 minutes. Big slide out of the final turn, but I think he's just going to try and get to the end. Bearing in mind, we had 22 drivers start this race. We have 18 still running. 3 drivers, unfortunately, some issues on their with their software or hardware. Nothing to do with the actual racing itself. Only one driver is retired.
Let's do for a on-board lap on the race leader. Can we?
Oh yeah. Yes, let's go on board with David Ricciardi. Then Ricciardi as he comes up towards turn number 3. Then he's got 1.5 seconds at the moment with Van der Geest. He goes through. This Lamborghini, absolutely beautiful. Certainly not the best sounding, in my opinion. I mean, I have got games that sounds down to 1, but from what I can hear, it's certainly not the best sounding. It's one of the loudest.
Yes, it was one of the loudest.
I have to admit, it's not my favourite sounding machine. It'd probably be the Viper.
Yeah, the Viper sounds so good. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But coming through turn number 4, and he's holding it together. That's what he needs to do for the final 5 minutes. That is all he has to do to win this race. And he's been doing such a good job for leading so much of it. The only time he hasn't been in the lead is when Van der Geest got past him doing the pit stop. And Ricciardi caught up very quickly, got back into the lead, and there he goes. He's been holding consistently steady ahead of Van der Geest. 5 minutes to go here for the opening round of the GT1 Championship. It's still, what, 2 seconds? This is actually the closest, surprisingly, out of everyone. This is one of the closest fights out on track right now, is for the lead position. And that's something that I don't get to say very often when broadcasting, because mostly it's the closest fights for those in 7th or 8th position and not for what is your race lead. So this is going to be fantastic if Van der Geest can just pick up the pace in this final few stages of the race with Ricciardi. Maybe his tyre wear goes off a little bit. I'm not too sure what's going to happen here, but remaining steady at 1.5 seconds crossing the line. Ricciardi 3/10 faster that lap. What's going to happen though in the final 4 minutes? Anyone can guess, because there are still back markers to get through. And the last time Ricciardi tried to get through a back marker in the final sector, that allowed Van der Geest to close in a whole second. So we shall have to see.
Lap with Van der Geest.
Oh, we're waiting on board the second position now of Sean Van der Geest. And actually, Van der Geest, he started this race in 5th position, I think it was. He was up to 4th position, so he remained in 4th position. Then the mistakes on the 2 drivers in front of him on the podium of Remmers and who's the other one, Berger, so both of those made mistakes. That promoted Van der Geest into 2nd position, of which he started to pull away from Pike. And since then, he's just done a fantastic job. He obviously did that amazingly quick pit stop. That's put him into 2nd. And it doesn't look like it's worrying him too much either. It doesn't look like he's under-fueled or his tyre wears too much or too little.
It just looks like Van der Geest is going for that aerodynamic setup, because this car is very slow on the straight. Ricciardi is able to open a 2nd gap on the straight. Ricciardi goes up to 286, 287 kilometers an hour. John Van der Geest struggles to get past the 265, 266 mark. So I think that's where Ricciardi is gaining the most on Van der Geest on the straights. That's why you can see the Van der Geest closing the gap on the middle sector to track, and then Ricciardi just stretching that gap again on the straights, you know.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that is a sort of driving style for Van der Geest, is to think about the lap as a whole instead of, okay, this part of the course is really quick, let's go fast there, and this part of the course is really slow, I'll just have to fight the car around. He is very much sets the car up to an overall lap, and he does a fantastic job of that. And thinking about that as well, he sets everything up for an overall situation. He's setting this race up for an overall season situation. He's not pushing ultra hard to take the win, because he knows 2nd position is still a really strong position. And if he was to push too hard and throw away a podium, then he's going to lose so many points compared to what he could just do by sitting and remaining in 2nd. It's not all about the single race victories. It can be about the entire season, and definitely at the opening round of the championship, you want to get as many points as possible, and you don't want to throw it away for something stupid like 1 position.
Yeah, and first it's just like a factor 2 pointing system. The first position is 40 points, the 2nd position is 36 points, the 3rd position is 33, and you can easily catch up to the 1st place being in 2nd, you know. If the 1st place gets 3rd and you get 1st on the next race, you already overtook the leader, the championship leader, you know. And you can play around with the points, play around with the tactics, play around with the pit tactics and all that. And it's very clever from Van der Geest not pushing his car to the limit on the last minute of the track, of the race.
Well, to say that actually with the last minute of the race, next lap is going to be the last lap of the race, and there is about 2.5 seconds from Van der Geest. I think Ricciardi is actually pushing at the end of this race to try and keep the gap up. That could prove maybe make a mistake for Ricciardi, but we haven't seen any mistakes from Ricciardi, from Van der Geest, both of them just running so consistently and so quickly that I can't see anything changing as they go on to the last lap with 30 seconds to go. This is going to be the last lap of racing with David Ricciardi to cross the line in the lead right now. Just 1 lap to go. Van der Geest to cross the line in second. They are 2 seconds between each other, and then 17 seconds clear to Berger. Berger in himself is almost 20 seconds clear to Pike. So right now the top 3 are pretty much confirmed. First and second I don't expect to change. Third position is definitely going to be Berger unless he crashes out at some point. But the time has ticked to a close. It is the last lap of the race right now. David Ricciardi leading the way in the Lamborghini. Van der Geest in second position in the Lister Storm, and Berger in third position. And Ferrari has made a mistake. Oh, big slide there. Luckily, he's got that 20 seconds to Pike behind.
Yep.
So he can hold on to third position. He just needs to now keep it clean for the rest of the lap and not push too hard as Berger's continuing around. He has got a back marker in front of him. Shouldn't cause too many issues as they continue through now. 2 seconds between them. This is a really nice start to the season though. Continuing on for the final 4 rounds, of course. You're going to have Alex and Matheus for the remaining 4 rounds. I'll be here at the last round. Got a lovely additional commentator, Joshua Penny, will be joining you, Matheus, and Alex in the next 3 rounds before I return. So that's going to be an absolutely fantastic season coming up. So what we're going to do is, whilst the race comes to a close, Ricciardi is going to come.
That's Ricciardi on the straight there, coming for the win. That's checkered flag. First position Ricciardi. Second place it's John Van der Geest. Third place it's Reinhard Berger, with a 20-second lap from Simon Pike there.
I love my microphone sometimes. Yes, that's Ricciardi winning the race and Van der Geest in second, and we've got Berger coming around, and he's going to be finishing this race in third position as well. Still got, what, Finotti's just taken 4th off his Pike. Pike!
Ran out of fuel.
He's out of fuel!
Out of fuel!
No!
Oh no!
Oh, Pike on the last lap of the race! He's trying to roll to the pit lane. I don't think he's going to do it. Surely a back mark or someone will push him to the line. Is that allowed? I don't know. He's trying to get around, but he's falling. He was in 4th. He's down to 7th.
Oh no. That's so unlucky.
Oh, that is really unfortunate. He's going to head down pit lane and hope that does something. Ultimately, he's in the top 12.
Yeah.
Because even if he doesn't get to the line.
Gutierrez is just close. Yeah, he's gonna be on the top 10 for sure. On that.
He can roll to the line. Sure, is that the line right there? He can roll to the line, surely.
Yep.
Gutierrez takes the position just at the line. Pike to finish in 8th. That was literally right at the line. If Pike didn't go down pit lane and he remained on track, he would have got 7th. That is a real shame though for Pike right at the end to lose it from 4th down to 8th position. Ashenko and Hill to come across the line in 9th
and Londes out of fuel. Oh my
final
god.
turn. Lockie takes 11th. Londes to retire in 12th. Surely he's going to hope for someone to come around and push him. I don't think anyone's out on track who can do that. There are a couple of people out on track. He may be waiting here for someone to push him because he is just sitting there. Final turn, so that's Londes in 12th, then it's going to be Williams 13th, Pitchler in 14th, Rodriguez, Boska, Milliken and Hinz to round out the top 18. Remmers, Rocks, Walker and Harper all retiring from that event in the end, which is a shame, and Londes does head down to pit lane in the end. He is going to take 12th, even though he didn't finish the race, because everyone else was at least 1 lap down, so he is going to finish in that top position. That is a real shame for both Pike and Londes. Pike, though, from 4th position, losing out. And luckily, he was able to roll it across the line, unlike Londes, who finished in 12th position, wasn't quite able to get to that line. But what an absolute fantastic race from all, and they're all saying congratulations in the chat now. But that is a fantastic first race of the season, wouldn't you admit?
I agree. That was really, really exciting. Van der Geest starting at 4th position, finishing at 2nd. He had a good battle with Ricciardi. They changed positions from leader to 2nd place on the pit stop situation there, but Ricciardi got first, and Van der Geest was right there, 1 second behind, even close to 0.5 seconds on that little scary moment there on the traffic. And yeah, a great first race of the season. Great first race of the season. I'm really hyped to stream and commentate on the 2nd race. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I will definitely be sitting in the chat hopefully we'll be sitting in the chat for those races for the coming seasons, because I would love to know how this develops. I will obviously be back at the final round, so I'll be here at the start and at the end. Perfect places to be doing the commentary for. Can't wait to see what this season turns out to be. And David Ricciardi was actually on that hard compound tyre in that final stint, and John Van der Geest on the mediums, so just showing how quick Ricciardi was after his pit stop, even though he was on the harder compound tyres. Absolutely fantastic.
Really good racing by everyone. Congrats to Davide Ricciardi to get the 1st place, and Van der Geest and Berger for the 2nd and 3rd. And thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for participating on the chat, participating on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much to Alex, who was here at the beginning of the stream. Unfortunately, some technical issues for him meant that he dropped out midway through. But Matheus, and for doing obviously the broadcast and for commentating, and then myself as well, Joseph Wright. So thank you to everyone watching. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to see how the rest of this season goes. Of course, next week we do have the multi-class series back again, so be sure to catch us next Sunday as well. So we're here pretty much every single Sunday for quite a while now, so be sure to make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are on the YouTube page, and also to hit that like button on the Facebook page and social media sites as well. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and we're going to quickly have a little look at what's next at Road America. How many people are signed up at Road America?
We have 32 signups. We have 30 signups confirmed and 32, like 2 drivers on a reserve.
So if you do want to join this series, then you need to go head over to that reserve list as quickly as possible, just in case anyone unregisters. And the mod itself, the GT1s, is worth buying from RSS. It's beautiful mod. You're going to absolutely love it. So
15 euro. Really good, really quality mods. It's so accurate to real life cars. I was earlier just studying in the cars, how they work, how they function and everything else. I saw videos from real life, and the Viper sounds exactly the same. It's crazy how accurate those cars are.
Absolutely fantastic then. So congratulations to the top 3 drivers in this event. Ricciardi, to Van der Geest, and to completely gone off the top of my head now. And to Berger, there you go. That's the rounding out the podium. So well done to everyone though in this race. And a few people will see you in a little bit of time. So in next week, be sure to catch that in the multi-class series. So thank you very much for watching here. We hope to see you next time. Thank you very much from me, from Alex, and from Matteo.
Thank you everyone. I'll see you next week on the multi-class endurance series. Bye bye and see you later.